Let's take a closer look with Missouri Republican Jason Smith. He's with the House Budget Committee, and he is the ranking member of that committee. Congressman, first of all, after the last recession, we did exactly the wrong thing when Obama and Biden were in power. We raised taxes, increased regulations. As a result, we had the weakest recovery in history. It looks like we're going right down that same road again.
It appears to. It is absolutely the worst plan that the Biden administration could have to raise everyone's taxes. If they really want to know what a great economy and record unemployment, say record unemployment for 50 years, they need to look to see of what a Trump economy did, what President Trump did by having the largest tax cuts in the history of the United States and more regulation than any other president in the history of the United States. That is what will make the economy grow. But unfortunately, it looks like the Biden administration is trying to do the complete opposite by raising taxes on the working class.
Which is what they did in 2011 and coming out of the terrible recession we had then. But it's worse now because now you have a House full and a Senate full of people that veer towards the far left. You didn't have as many of them back in 2009, 10, and 11. And so you have all these new ideas like a wealth tax, which has been tried by a dozen countries in Europe, and most of them have gotten rid of it because it's so bad. Bernie Sanders has this income inequality tax that he's been rolling out recently. And as we heard, Janet Yellen has this global corporate rate she's trying to get. So it could actually be worse. And that, I assume, would lead to a worse recovery than we had the last time.
I'll tell you, David, right now, the Democrats that I serve with in Congress have not found a tax increase that they don't like. And so for all the folks out there, the working class Americans, I would be careful because they're going to try every opportunity. And I would say the second reconciliation package that they're moving forward or planning to move forward is going to be the vehicle to raise everyone's taxes.
So just to be clear, you can shoehorn into that spending bill new taxes. What kind of taxes would not, through reconciliation, be able to go in there?
Well, it's all up to the Bertable rule or the Senate parliamentarian when they would decide that. But virtually, I think everything's on the table. And so that's pretty scary. I think they'll try to increase the corporate tax rate, the individual tax rate, look at all the different changes to the tax code that will benefit their friends and donors. That's what they'll do.
I just have one more question for you. There's some question about whether or not states would be allowed to lower their tax rates as a result of receiving help through the last COVID Act, the $1.9 trillion. Do you know anything about that? Would that somehow prevent responsible state governments from trying to lower their taxes?
You know, the Biden bailout bill that just passed was just another example of let's pass it and then people can figure out what's in it. As Speaker Pelosi has said, that's exactly the case. This is another example of a Washington power grab where they are trying to tell states that, guess what? You take this money and you cannot lower your taxes. And so, in fact, the entire House Republican Ways and Means Committee and the entire House Republican Oversight Committee sent a letter to Yellen today raising this concern because this is unacceptable.
Congressman Jason Smith, good to see you, sir. You got your work cut out for you. I'm glad you're in there.